I'm Mason Mount. You're listening to the London is Blue podcast.
So here we go. Timo Werner confirmed, officially official. Interesting come of events. He is agreed. Matt Law, everyone's saying it's done deal. Don't worry about it. It's just a matter of time. They'll probably wait till the Bundesliga is over. Then we hear, oh shit, he removed himself from the Champions League roster, which I didn't even know you could remove yourself. He probably negotiated with the club so he could join
2020
Chelsea.
is brand new time, Brandon. Brand new time. You
Honestly,
can do everything. Everything is different. It's all on the table.
And then the other big thing was, oh shit, Chelsea had to get it done this past weekend. Otherwise, the clause expires, which we were told was mid-July. There's just stuff all over the board. And there was stuff as early as today, the day it made official, that Liverpool are still in the race. It was an absolute shit show. So thankfully, it is officially official, Nick. And we can move past all this nonsense that the media is just clicking this, farming us for clicks.
So shout out to the Express that I think as of like 24 hours ago said that Liverpool were still in with a shout to confirm the deal. So that clearly worked out. Yeah, it just feels fantastic. Like, it feels good to have a big marquee signing on the way to Chelsea. And not that Ziyech wasn't a big marquee signing. It's probably a little bit more under the radar than what Werner is, especially considering his age and production. But just an incredible feeling, Dan, to have one of the most coveted players in Europe coming to our club. We stole him from Liverpool, which is extra sweet. Very happy about that. But, it's officially official, and now we can toast to it. So cheers.
It's a good opportunity to go back in time and just look at, just go into YouTube and search welcome to Liverpool, Werner, and the amount of videos that exist there, and just realize they were all look, in terms of researching the player, great opportunity to feast on the carcasses of failed dreams and update yourself on what actually, he's going to bring to the club. But, I think in general, so his intro kind of conversation from the fifth stand or the Chelsea FC, just I'm delighted to be signed for Chelsea. It's a very proud moment for me to be joining this great club. Of course, I want to thank RB Leipzig, the club and the fans for 4 fantastic years. You will forever be in my heart. I look forward to the next season with my new teammates, my new manager, of course, Chelsea fans, a very simple future ahead of us. 100% agree. Hashtag confirmed. How could you feel better about this? There's no other way.
Well, and you have to say, too, Leipzig was nothing but class today. I mean, They did an incredible job of announcing it, of urging their own fans to be okay with it, to trolling Tottenham, which is just they are now my favorite German team because of that.
100%.
I even locked in on that. Leipzig.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all good. Partnership established. But yeah, it's cool. And I think Ajax did the same thing with Ziyech. It's cool when, players kind of reached their threshold at a club and they know that, Chelsea is that next step up or one step beyond perhaps. And they're cool with, everything that goes on with the transfer. It's not weird or terrible, or there's not a lot of controversy. So, Brandon, I was really happy to see a lot of positive reaction around this.
Yeah, so if we cut to the Fifth Stand app, they had the audio, little video clip from Timo Werner. I want to play that for you here. Nick, when we watched this before the episode, we had to laugh. He is the most if you were to tell me he's just the most typical German sounding, his demeanor, no emotion, just read the words that came out of his head. But it's great to see, and to Dan's point, it shatters all of this nonsense that was out there for so long. And this is a huge instatement signing for Chelsea that we haven't had for a while. And, someone, I don't know why, decided to compare Timo Werner to Morata, maybe because they're about the same age. These stats aren't even close.
Alita,
yeah. These stats aren't even close. 30 goals from Morata to 55 for Timo Werner. He's got 7,500 minutes to Morata's 4,100. Timo's got 22 assists to Morata's 16. 3.4 shots per game to 1.8. 1.2 key passes per game to 0.7. And 17 man of the match awards to 4. Which, to be fair, that's kind of subjective, though.
This was Timo before coming to Chelsea and Morata
3 years
before coming to Chelsea. Yeah. What were we getting? And it's very clear that Morata was the gamble, right? You were kind of betting on 6, and Werner is like the sure. Yeah, everyone uses words like sure thing typically. Yeah, he's proven. He is a proven quantity at the at a top level, and also in a international level as a starter, whereas Morata was coming in as a kind of a role player striker. And
no way. Morata was a big name striker for us. It was like him or Lukaku.
Oh no. He was a big name striker for us, but if we think about the role he was playing, he was
didn't
playing
start for Madrid.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah,
he was always the second choice, having to move into being first. Where now you're bringing elite mentality in, on top of having the elite mentality of Tammy, on top of having Giroud, who's got a winner's mentality as well. You start to think about this strike force. Fucking sexy. This is a lot of energy, is a lot of excitement, and it is going to really kind of take us in a different direction. And I think what we're kind of we had this thought about is like who kind of misses out or who loses out. I think this is the biggest end to Mishi's kind of time at Chelsea, or kind of even consideration in an 11 or a match day squad, even with 9 substitutions moving forward. Like he is moving out into a different phase of his career.
You couldn't have said anything
9.
safer.
Yeah,
I mean,
with a full 11 substitutions.
Mishi, look, that ship has sailed. I think we all saw that coming when he got the run of games in the fall. Lampard said, "I'm done with this." Put in Giroud, it was night and day difference. Mishi's got to move. He's got to sign an extension so we can get some value out of him, or he's got to move this season because his contract's running out. So if you think past the obvious exclusion there, because most teams, you only have 3 strikers, most teams, but also most teams only play with 1 striker. I don't think Frank will be afraid to play with 2 strikers, or maybe like 1 9 and a false 9 right behind, something like that. Either way, Nick, I'm just not worried about the argument of, well, where does Tammy fit in? Where does Pulisic sit in? We've all heard from Joe Cole how much competition boosts players, makes them better, makes them perform at a higher level. They're not complacent. This is only net positive. Like no team, do you think Man City fans are like, oh man, we've got too many center mids that are really, really good? No. You figure it out.
Yeah, like David Silva, who is legitimately an all-time Premier League player, doesn't play every game for Man City, right? They have a ton of options and pet picks, the best players for the match they're playing. This is going to be the same exact thing. The stat that should really, obviously besides the 32 goals and 13 assists and 43 appearances, pretty good, pretty solid there from old Timo. The stat that should get you excited is he takes shots.
Yeah.
We talked about this with Tweeds a couple weeks ago. How many times have you yelled at the screen this year, shoot the ball, shoot? He's not going to hesitate, which I think is kind of the cutthroat part of the strike force that we need. We've had times of the last couple of years where our players have tried to walk it into the back of the net, and he is not going to do that. He takes shots from outside the box. He cuts in on his right, which is his less dominant foot, and curls it into the top corner. He has power with his left that is ridiculous, and he has speed to burn. Hence Timo Werner. He is going to be genuinely a threat in whatever position he plays, whether it's the kind of traditional 9 or it's a less traditional winger kind of cutting in from the left-hand side. I mean, all it does is make everybody else need to step up their game, Dan. And that's what we need. This young team needs to step up their collective game.
When we think about the idea of supporting Chelsea and we think about the idea of supporting a player, those two things are a bit in an element of like natural conflict. We are the American Chelsea podcast, right? And we obviously have a love for our fellow countryman, Christian Pulisic, and we want to see him succeed. But I also don't want to see him succeed at the detriment of Chelsea staying in fourth place and becoming the new age Arsenal. That is not what I want. I want this club to be competing for trophies and getting back to winning the Champions League and winning the Premier League again. And winning football 2020. It's happening. So those are the things. They are naturally going to be compatible elements to one another. And the important thing is to realize that when you get to the point where you have the FA Cup, the League Cup, Champions League, and you have the Premier League, rotation is critical. And the closer you can get to 2 starting 11s, the better your team is set up for. And actually, the big challenge is going to be Frank Lampard year 2.0. How does he manage a squad that is now exponentially more talented than the one he entered into, that is younger, that is filled with a mix of academy and first-team stars from Europe or European leagues? That is going to be a masterful thing to watch. Like I think it's not going to go perfectly, but he has shown to be a brilliant man manager, and it gets me super excited to see how he's going to balance all of these wonderful pieces of talent heading in next season.
How has he been a brilliant man manager? He has managed like a super thin squad this season. If anything, we've said he's made some tactical mistakes though too. I mean, I'll give you credit for dumping Mishi and bringing Giroud back from the cold, but this is new for him. I think it.
Kepa, he pulled Kepa, gave Kepa the time to.
To be fair, those are easier.
Back in him.
I just think Kepa, like that was out of any call. We'll have to see. But either way, I do want to disagree with the 2 11s. That's too many players. You will not be able to rotate us 2 full 11s, and mainly don't really want to rotate your defense too much. I would say you want a solid 18 or 17, whatever, 11 plus 6 subs. Then you can rotate and get enough game time. If you get to too many players fighting for time, Man City actually has this. They have a lot of top players who will leave after a year or two because they ended up not playing that much. But I do get your point. I will never be upset that Chelsea have too many good players, and we should agree on that, and I think we do. But again, 6 subs, a squad of 17, 18 is perfect with all those matches to be played.
So we're disagreeing over the number of 4.
Well, I think it's just different. Like having 2 full squads is too much.
Think about this, though. Why do you need, Dan mentioned the competitions, but at what periods during the year do you really need a full squad that is fully healthy? You really need it in the kind of fall when there are a couple of competitions, including the Champions League, League Cup, and Premier League that are going on. You really need it during the, absolute crazy festive season throughout December and January when things are, 3 matches every week, it seems like. And then you really need it when late stages of FA Cup and Champions League and Premier League top 4 race is on, right? Those are the 3 periods. Otherwise, the rest of the year is relatively 1.5 matches, I guess, on average a week. So it's going to be fascinating to see what Frank Lampard does, not only with the current group that he has and a ton of young, talented academy players. It's going to be fascinating to see how he manages big ego.
Yeah. Here's another question. Is this a distraction to what's going on? I mean, Chelsea haven't played yet. I mean, they said on the Athletic podcast that Frank didn't even tell Tammy about this, didn't talk to him about it. You go to man management, that's some mind games too for him. I mean, he shouldn't have to ask Tammy permission.
Do we think Tammy knows how to use Instagram or Twitter? Because I'm pretty sure he knew this was happening.
Well, okay, but I'm saying from the beginning, right? Like this wasn't a 2-week process, And I think so part of it will come down to how is this going to affect Tammy already? Or maybe even everyone talks about Pulisic or Callum Hudson-Odoi or, whoever else is playing on the wide, in the wide areas too. If anything, you would think that this would have a positive, like, well, shit, I better show my value in these last few matches to make sure, I'm in the gaffer's plans, because this next preseason is going to be short. The turnaround from this season to next season is going to happen like that. And so you're going to have Ziyech coming in, Werner, and maybe a guy from Bayer Leverkusen if everything goes well.
Well, think about this, though, Dan. One of the great stories of all time in man management is that coming out of the shower, Jose Mourinho told then a young Frank Lampard that he was the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Right? It was just Jose being, early Jose, right? Looked at him and said, you are the best player in the world. Better than Ronaldinho, better than Kaká, better than any of these fools. You are the best player in the world. That is what Frank Lampard has to now do to some of these young players. Not at that level, because none of them are quite, peak Frank Lampard. But he has to look at him and say, like, hey, guys, the door is wide open. Go get it.
Agreed. It's going to be, I think it just gets back to the point. It's going to be really interesting to see how he manages it. And I think to Brandon's point, in summary, there is going to be a Timo Werner effect over the last 9 matches, because the Timo Werner is lighting the fire underneath the collective asses of any player that's going to be at Chelsea next season.